Ladies and gentlemen, today it's really a big pleasure because I have Jonathan Daniels back on the CX Goalkeeper podcast. Hi, Jonathan. How are you?
Rigaro, I'm good. Thank you for the invite. It's a pleasure to be here.
I am super happy. You were my guest number one. It means the first person on the CX Goalkeeper podcast. And now, after 90 episodes, I have really the big pleasure to have you back. And we are going to speak about something really interesting. It's a customer experience centric maturity assessment that we will share later. I think that's a great opportunity for everybody to join, everybody to participate. Jonathan will share all the information about that. But before we start speaking about this maturity assessment, let's do an introduction. Jonathan, could you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, no problem. First of all, Gregorio, well done. Congratulations for this podcast. Because I came on at the start and you were just kicking off. Now you're 90 episodes in. It's a real achievement. So keep it up, keep going, don't stop. So I'm Jonathan Daniels, for those who don't know me. I'm originally from the UK. I live in Belgium now. The author of the Customer Experience Playbook. I run CX Centric. So we have a global community, the CX Centric community of professionals who are interested in customer experience and in customer success. And customer centricity, I should say also. We've got some frameworks which our members basically get involved with and give us feedback on, and we share that information with others in the community. We also run global webinars, so basically it just allows us to showcase any good examples of organizations who've really gone forward and done something exceptional in terms of customer experience management. Also the co-founder of CX Brussels and also CX Dubai. So these are two local communities which we've set up in these specific regions to really support organizations and professionals in these regions. That's the main stuff. I play guitar, from a musical family, background in project management, especially technology projects, and I've managed a lot of business transformations as well. So that's my summary there, Gregorio.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. And I think the summary is, while you are sleeping, you sleep, and if not, you are speaking and doing customer experience. Joke aside, I think I would like really to learn a bit more about you. And I had the great pleasure to speak with you several times, and therefore I know you a bit, but the audience perhaps not. And therefore, which values drive you in life?
Well, family first. Yeah, so make sure the family's good, make sure they're happy, fed, I should say, as well. So that's the first thing, and I spend a lot of time with them, with the kids as well. And then the other thing about me, it's more about improvement. So looking at what's happening in the world today, looking at the structures, some of the processes or some of the beliefs, and just taking the time to reflect and rethink them, basically. So that's another thing that we try to do here at CX Centric. The other thing is just being creative and having a sense of style. So we're always trying to create new things for our customers, approach problems from a different angle, etc. That's those are the main sort of things. The last thing is obviously respect. Having respect for others, having respect for yourself. This is something really important to me as well.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And I think two things that you mentioned, two values that you mentioned, creativity and respect, are also part of what you did, because you created something new that it's really stylish. It's a great style. It's simple to fill in. It's understandable and will help companies to grow and to going through the journey transformation in direction customer centricity. But if I have you, I don't need to explain that. You are going to do that. You created a brilliant customer experience assessment. Where did the idea come from?
Yeah, so for me, it's a customer centricity assessment. And for me, customer centricity is very important. And what I've noticed is the way we articulate about customer experience management and customer centricity, sometimes it can be a bit, let's say, waffly. It's not very clear. It's, oh yeah, we need to focus on the customer experience. We need to make the customer happy. Okay, what does that mean in real terms for my organization today? Yeah. So I wanted to articulate customer centricity in a smart way, like specific, measurable, achievable, etc. And that was the whole premise behind the customer centricity model, which we created. Yeah. And then on top of that, so we created this model last year, actually, and there's quite a few professionals, around 20 professionals from around the world, like well-respected professionals who came in, reviewed, including yourself, Gregorio. You've checked it as well. And we put together this assessment. And then the other day I was speaking to Bruce Temkin. Bruce Temkin is the guy who founded the CXPA, actually. Yeah? He's playing a key role in what we do, as the listeners will probably know. And he said to me, Jonathan, this assessment that you have, because I was offering this assessment, privately to organizations. I'd taken like a few banks through it, a few insurance companies through it. They got good results, very good results, a lot of good feedback. He said, look, you've got to get this out to the masses, actually. So I created a smaller version of that assessment. And the idea behind it is that we want to get as many organizations to fill it in as possible so we can get benchmark data for specific sectors. So we can say, in terms of leadership, banking, they place higher than tourism, for instance. In terms of employee experience, retail are suffering. We want to be able to have benchmarks for specific sectors. And then also we want to be comparing, because that's the other thing, with the CX Centric community. It's a global community, and we want to be comparing results country by country as well. Which areas of the world are better at, which ones appear more customer centric based on this study? Which ones have challenges in specific areas? Can we find any trends here? So we're really, really passionate about this. We want to get this information, and once we get it, I think it's going to open up a lot of interesting discussion points that we can have as a community. So I hope to come back and say, these are the results, this is what is shown, Gregorio, these are the points that we need to work on as a community. So that's the premise behind what we're doing today.
Then it means I need to invite you for the next session when you have the results so that we can discuss them. But before discussing the result, I went through, and it's really a smart assessment because you are touching and covering several topics. How is it structured?
Yeah, so it's structured around the CX Centric customer centricity model. Yeah, so this model has 8 dimensions. So for each of these 8 dimensions, we have 3 sub-dimensions, basically. So those add up to a lot of dimensions, 24 dimensions in total. But what we've done is we've taken just the key questions, the most important ones that really give a clear indication of your level of customer centricity, and focused on those. Yeah. And we've had so much feedback that's been very interesting. So organizations have come back and have said, oh, some might just do something basic like, oh, nice set of questions. But we're also getting feedback like refreshing, thought-provoking, different. Yeah. So the thing with here is if you think about, we're talking about culture here, customer centricity, the way we work. And what we're doing is we're moving away from traditional models like Taylor's time and motion, which was about, okay, how many hours has this person done, da, da, da. Now we're focusing on something else because we need to have a different way of working, or even call it collaborating or producing together. And that's the whole premise behind this. It's really to investigate what's actually happening now in these organizations. Is it working? Is it working? And how can we improve? So, yeah, it will take about, in total, it takes between 5 and 10 minutes to complete this assessment. And once you've completed it, within a few days, we'll send back your maturity score for each of the 8 dimensions. And also we'll send you a few links as well to, stuff related to the results that you've provided. And then further on down the line, once we've got all the numbers, so probably more like the beginning of October, once this input sort of section of the project is finished, then we'll be able to send you the full report with the key graphs, so you can look through it and you can see where your organization is compared with the others, basically.
Very much looking forward to it, because I completed also the assessment, and therefore I'm going to get all this information. For the audience, ladies and gentlemen, it's a free assessment that you can take until the end of September. You will find all the links in the show notes, in the comments of these videos, and please participate, because we are going to help the customer experience community to grow, to identify what we need to do, where we need to act, and it will be extremely interesting to share all these results, and also having the opportunity to compare throughout the different industry, throughout the countries, and so on. Jonathan already mentioned in a pre-discussion, several countries are participating. Feedback is coming from everywhere, and therefore please join. The best thing that you can do now is post this podcast, go to the link, fill in this assessment, and then come back and listen about the continuation of this discussion. I think let's take this example, or our example. You fill in the assessment, and now you have an idea of the as-is situation. Why is it important to understand where we are?
Well, I think it's so important to know where we are. The reason is, it's often a wake-up call for organizations. In fact, it's often a new perspective, a new vision, because so many organizations are looking at things from the inside out perspective. They're focused on their business results. They're not focusing on what the customers are saying. They're not focused on the customer needs. They're just looking at their competitors. Trust me, so many people have said, this is refreshing, this is different, this is a new perspective. So understanding where you are is often a wake-up call, because you're going to have to think about things that you probably haven't thought of before. But as soon as you start thinking about it, you'll then understand how important it is. It's very clear. Some of these dimensions that we have, when we talk about leadership, leaders being able to empower their employees rather than have this command and control. We know that's important. Sometimes we don't think about that sort of things enough. We don't look at this stuff in our organization and address it. Things like the employee experience, things like looking at how we can drive our organization to have people who are passionate about what we do, passionate about the impact that we have on our customers, but also the wider society. Like this sort of thing, before, it was never even discussed. It was hardly discussed. Now this stuff is very important. It's crucial in this day and age. Yeah, even from a point of being able to retain your customers and also retaining your employees, which is equally as important and equally difficult in this day and age. So it's always important to know where you are as an organization.
I think I love what you're saying, and basically adding my view, working in corporates, it's really, if you have a worldwide known customer experience expert like Jonathan, telling you where you're good and where you are less good, where you need to improve. It really helps you and support you, for example, if you are a customer experience professional in your company, to spread the word of mouth, to set the right priorities, and to tell within your company that perhaps not everything is perfect, but there are ways to improve. And I think this external view, as you said, outside in the consultant, really expert in this area, telling you where you are good and where you need to improve, it will really helps. And I think also, yes, please, Jonathan.
I was going to say, yeah, I mean, look, at CX Centric, we've got a lot of experience delivering customer centric transformations, but at the same time, we do work with partners around the world. So we have a database of partners. So I have to say that, you know, for instance, right now, Rodrigo, he's in South America. We've translated the this assessment into Spanish as well, and you know, a lot of the times he might be servicing some of the Spanish or the clients from South America, and we have partners around the world. So it's not like us as the organization, and we are just trying to collect leads, etc. We work with partners. We've got international group of partners, and for others, for those who are interested in growing their businesses from a customer experience perspective, feel free to get in touch with us if you like to join the partner ecosystem. So I just wanted to add that in.
That's great, and I think that's a great opportunity, because if we are collaborating, we can grow customer experience quicker, better, and we can learn from each other. And I think also related to learning from each other, what's your view? Is it possible to excel a bit in some of these areas, 8 categories that you mentioned, or is it better to improve altogether?
I think it's a good question, and I think it depends on the business. It depends on what outcomes you are aiming for. Yeah. And also, I would say that it just, yeah, depends on the specific industry and the situation as well, and the actual results. And that's why it's always good to work with one of our partners, so they can help you interpret the results and help you to create a strategy and a roadmap that's really going to work. In terms of, is it better to focus on one area or focus on the other, on all of them together? I think it's always best to focus on the areas which are most likely to impact the employee experience and the customer experience. So you focus on the areas with the biggest impacts. So you're going to have to work that out, which has the biggest impact, and you're going to have to get that justified. Why do you think this would have the biggest impact as well? So there's a bit of work to do there. But yeah, that's my thing. Don't try and do everything. Focus on the biggest impact areas.
Thank you very much. I think what you're saying, it totally makes sense. And now I'm 100% sure we convince everybody, every listener, to participate to the free CX Centric Maturity Assessment. Please do that by the 30th of September, because it's free, and then you can get all this information, all these reports that Jonathan mentioned. But before we finish this game, I still have some questions. One question that I always ask. Now we close our eyes, we did all this assessment, and we are in 10 years' time from now. What we are discussing about in the customer experience world?
This is a good question. I think 10 years from now, what we're going to see is proactive management of customer communities. I think that is the way forward. What's going to happen is we're going to have communities, and these might be your customers, or they might be prospective customers, or they might be just, you know, by interest, interested in something, a subject that's related to your product or service. And basically, this is going to be the driving force for many organizations, because if you invest in these communities where customers are, because often now online you can really get close to, you know, you've got communities. In fact, you have like an ongoing discussion. If you take the keyword for your business, for like, for instance, high fashion or something, you can literally type that keyword into Twitter and you'll see that there's an ongoing discussion right now, regarding topics related to your business. Yeah. So how do you get into that conversation? How do you tap in? How do you make sure you understand and connect with those potential customers for your business? For me, proactive management of customer communities is going to be crucial over the next 10 years and even beyond that. So that's my wisdom there for you, Gregorio.
I love it, because I think the community topic, it's always popping up. Now we are reading and referring to, how can I explain it? Referring to feedback from people we don't know. If we're looking product in Amazon, if we're looking in another website, we don't know the people, but we read what they are saying, and then we take our decision based on that. Think about the opportunity of reading reviews of people you trust, and then if you buy the product or the service, it will be a complete change in the way we are thinking. I really love what you said. We are now coming in the last 3 minutes of the game, and I still have 3 questions. The first one, is there a book that you would like to suggest to the audience because it helped you during your career or during your life?
Listen, Gregorio, I'm not being selfish here, but I have to still plug in the customer experience playbook. I have to. So I wrote that book in 2020, and the reason why I'm plugging it is, even last month, someone messaged me, "Oh, this helped me." It's got a framework in there that was useful to them. It's still being used right now, actually. So check out the customer experience playbook, which is available on Amazon.
That's perfect. I think that's the best way, and I can recommend it because I read it, I like it, and I still remember the how you explained and make it really simple some things that are not so simple to understand. And also with your overview, it really helps understand how to drive customer-centric transformations. The second last question is your contact details. I think now we can split the questions, your contact details and where we can find your maturity assessment.
Yeah, so contact details, you can get in touch, cx-centric.com. That's the website. You can also connect with me, Jonathan Daniels. I'm on LinkedIn. CX Centric also on Instagram, CX Centric Global on Twitter. Also, lots of different ways of connecting. So feel free. Look, everything that we do, it's work in progress. We're learning as we go. And if you see that customer centricity maturity assessment and you take it and you have feedback, get in touch. If you see the model, you think something needs changing, or you want to challenge something, get in touch. If you see any of our other frameworks, because we do have other frameworks, if you have a look and you see something and you want to get in touch about it, just get in touch, because we are always trying to improve, and we're always happy to have conversations about what we're doing. So feel free to just get in touch anytime.
Thank you very much. And now we are coming to the last question. Is Jonathan golden nugget? It's something that we discussed or something new that you would leave to the audience?
Yeah, I think golden nugget would be, yeah, this is a bit tricky. Yeah, for me, probably the golden nugget is just to understand and appreciate the importance of culture in a workplace. Yeah, understanding how the mindset and the approach of your employees and the collective mindset impacts the outputs for your organization. So the products, the services, the interactions that your team has with the customers, with the wider environment as well. Culture is crucial, it's very important, and that's why we want to focus on that. So yeah, just my golden nugget is not to underestimate the importance and power of culture, and also obviously try to be intentional about designing that culture and maintaining that culture. These are two things that are very important.
And I think this is the best way to conclude this discussion. Thank you very much, Jonathan, for your great insights and for sharing for free your CX Centric Maturity Assessment. It was a great pleasure to have you on the CX Goalkeeper podcast. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gregorio. Pleasure's all mine.
And also to the audience, I hope that you enjoyed this discussion as much as I did. And please let us know your view. Jonathan shared already all the contact details. Please feel free to contact him or to contact me. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share the word of mouth. Subscribe it, share it. Until the next episode, please don't forget, we are not in a B2B or B2C business. We are in a human-to-human environment. Thank you.